We'll be picking up where we left off last week. But before we get started, let me thank a friend of the Greenwater Guildhall tonight. We would like to thank Dogmight Games. None of these are sponsorships or partnerships of any kind. We just like their products. Dogmight Games makes beautiful wooden accessories for your tabletop role-playing games, such as DM screens and dice trays and dice towers, and they have this really cool thing called a player vault, and all of their stuff is customizable. And if you order something that's customized, it usually will ship in about 6 to 8 weeks from the time of purchase. They also have things that are in stock, so if you want to order something right away, you can. And those items will usually ship in 1 to 2 business days from the time of purchase. If you have been on the fence, well, maybe this will sweeten the deal for you. We have a discount code good for 10% off of anything on their site. Just when you are checking out, you can use the code FRIEND in all capital letters, and that will give you 10% off of your purchase. If you're a fan of our Wednesday Night Traveler games, we do have a website via Obsidian Portal. The adventure log on that site is written in the manner of news articles from Traveler News Service. They detail everything that's going on across the Trojan Reach and sometimes beyond the borders of the Reach. And the players or the travelers are taking more and more of a center stage as their antics gain them notoriety. If you're a fan of the page, we do ask that you go to the front page and click that fan like. We like to see those, and we hope you enjoy the content. So where we left off last week, you guys were given a better deal than pirating the Trojan Ranger, even though that was a pretty sweet safari ship. And you've got 4 hostages that you've locked into a very cramped quarters that basically it's a quarters meant for 2 people. It's got bunk beds, and you got 4 of them in there. So your plan being to hopefully ransom them. I don't know, but they're there. And the last system that you've jumped into was Salif, and Salif is run by a former Holovid Star named Tiznee Zazzle, and just so happens that Ox has she's a contact of Ox's. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're close friends, but they met probably in a casino somewhere, I would imagine. Probably, yeah.
Not that I would ever go to a casino.
Right, no.
In fact, I'll give you odds that I'd never go.
And so, now, let me, this is the planetary map of Salif, but let me bring up the big map. So you are here. So Salif, they've got Class A starport, tech level 10. You don't really need to do wilderness refueling. It does have a couple of gas giants in the system. It is perfectly acceptable, though, to just land and maybe make contact with Tiznee Zazzle. Now, I don't know how awestruck any of the rest of the crew might be at the fact that Ox knows Tiznee Zazzle. She hasn't really been in the public eye as much as a Hollow Star for a number of years. I would say that her career would probably be on the downward slide. She has been focused more or less on ruling Salif, and she basically, it's kind of strange how she ended up here, but she basically convinced the population essentially to overthrow the previous despot, and she maintains her control over the population by giving, carefully choreographed songs and speeches, promising prosperity and more living space, etc. But as of yet, none of that has really borne fruit. And but I wouldn't necessarily. It says that she's promising more living space, but I wouldn't necessarily say that Salif is hurting for living space. The planet as a whole has a population of about 8 million people. So I would guess that what they're talking about is that the probably building a better colony or another colony. Let's see here. So it does look like there's 2 towns. So maybe she's going to build another town for people to live in. I don't know. But this is where the starport is located. And, of course, there's a star town there. And I thought... I see.
So if you were to compare this person to like a star that we know of in the real world, is there anyone that comes to mind?
I just have this terrible urge to compare her. I don't know. I have this terrible urge to compare her to like Jennifer Lopez, but that's not really accurate. That's not really accurate. It would be more. It'd be more along the lines of like an older actress whose career has kind of taken a backstage. Maybe somebody like Farrah Fawcett.
Okay.
Where she hasn't really done anything in a number of years, and so as far as you guys know, you haven't even really seen any up to date photos of Tiznee Zazzle. There's probably in your own computer. There's probably a library of Tiznee Zazzle hollows that you can watch. While you're in Jump, but nobody's seen any real current day photos of her in a while. She's just been kind of quietly living on a noble estate here on Salif.
Gotcha.
Cool.
So, I take it you guys want to partake in this? Go down to the Star Town?
Yeah, I'm down for a side quest. That's fun.
Let's do it.
Okay. So,
She's always fun to hang out with.
yeah, it's always fun to hang out with rich people, So these are some example images of the Salif Star Town. Sorry, my brain is still frazzled. Qingxi brings the Capri Sun and puts her down in the Star Town. And I don't know, maybe I was a little overzealous in imagining these this colony, but the Star Town is bustling. It is quite busy. Salif, of course, is kind of off of. It's kind of off of the main, so you could say that it's a bit of a backwater, really. But it does provide access to other worlds. So I mean, it's not like it's not like Thor was, where it's away from everything. No, there is traffic that comes through Salif, but not very many people actually stop and stay. So what are you wanting to do in Salif?
You want to find out what Tiznee Zazzle is doing in this kind of place.
Okay. Everybody that's wanted to do that, go ahead and make a streetwise plus intellect check, and this will take probably roughly about 6 hours of bopping around as you're asking questions. So Beth got an 8. What about Keith?
6.
Shit.
I got a 13.
Thank goodness I'm streetwise.
So Beth, well, before I give Beth and Ox their information about what Tiznee Zazzle's up to, as you're bopping around town, kind of asking locals, where are you guys going exactly? I mean, do you have a
Casino.
Right, of course.
Or tavern, wherever they have a poker game.
So, yeah, there is a brewhouse tavern here. And there's actually another one. And I can't remember the name of it. Anyways, that's the one. That's the one downside of using my tablet to stream, is that all of my ebooks are on said tablet. So I kind of need another tablet so that I can look this stuff up. Yeah, you find a brewhouse tavern, and brewhouse taverns, one of their big claim to fame is that the idea of the brewhouse tavern is kind of like McMiniman's, in that all the food and drink that is served there is locally sourced, and if there are, I mean, not all of it, but they that's how they got their name, or their fame, is that it's all locally sourced. The reality is that there is some stuff brought off world, but it's typical, McMiniman's pub kind of fare. They've got burgers and fries. One of their things is, I want to say it's about, hold on. I want to say that it's about pickled eggs or something, but hold on. Maybe I do have access to this. Let's see here. Here we go. I believe it was a referee's briefing. Hotels, bars, and restaurants. So yeah, their thing is that the Brewhouse Tavern and their regular patrons, they will pickle almost anything. And so there is a jar, a big, I don't know if you've been in a bar where they have like the blood sausages. They have this big jar, and it'll have various things floating in it. You never know what it's going to be depending on what planet or what port you're in. So their big thing is sampling the pickles, as they refer to it. And so that is usually a thing for a lot of people. Some could be very good. Some of these pickled items may be true abominations. But you never know. So you get into the brew house. There is a card game going on, and how much are you wanting to bet? Who all? Well, I know Ox is. Well, I know Ox is going to play, but what about Keith and Beth?
Gambling.
I'll gamble. I like to.
I will
Okay.
gamble.
Okay. Buy-in is this is a fairly moderate game, low stakes. So buy-in's like 40 credits.
Sounds good. I'm in.
Yeah,
Okay.
me too.
So, Beth, you learn that you actually learn in the process of, as you guys are playing cards, you find out that Tiznee Zazzle is in fact going to put on a live performance this evening from the Star Town that you're currently in, and that she is, after her live performance, she's going to give some speech as to the state of affairs for the planet, and just kind of catch up her constituency. Most of the people that you've run into, they seem to be, I don't necessarily I wouldn't say that they're, supporters or wanting to, get pom-poms and do a cheer for Tiznee Zazzle, but it's not like they hate her either. So they're kind of very middle of the road, and they're like, she's better than what we had, so whatever. So everybody make a gamble plus intellect check.
Okay. 9.
12.
Okay. Ox and Keith both win.
Oh, you mean me? Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was Keith?
Keith is not playing.
Okay.
I got a 9.
You got a 9. So Ox, you win. So you get back 80 credits.
Okay.
Beth loses.
Unacceptable.
Would you like to play another round?
Yes.
I'm in.
Okay. So, in the middle of this card game, and this is a form of the game that you're playing is like a form of Texas Hold'em.
So are these all locals or anybody here from starships like us?
There are a number of people that are in the Brewhouse Tavern that are from passing trade crews and whatnot. In fact,
Anybody in our game?
I would say that there's one other captain playing in your game.
What ship? How big? How much cargo? How well armed? No, I'm not saying that out loud. But yeah, try and say hi, be sociable, find out if he's a good target or not.
He is
Or
a
she, whatever.
he.
Or it.
He is the captain. Hold on here. I have something for this. Sorry, guys. I swear to God, getting hit in the head like that, I lost like 4 IQ points at least.
You have to get hit in the front to knock everything back where it was.
Right, yeah. Yeah, my wife was like, "Oh my God, your back's gonna be so bad." I'm like, "I don't know. Maybe when I fell on the floor, it'll like kind of knock everything back into position instead."
I knew a guy who's like his car only certain he was missing a couple gears that would work, and yeah, he went over like a really huge bump once, and he got a couple back. He was really pumped. Life is like that.
Well, those aren't going to work because those are J1s.
Yeah, usually the gambling table is a good spot to get information from people.
Yeah.
They're paying attention to the cards, they're drinking a little. Since I won that first time, how much would it cost to buy the table that I'm playing with around?
Oh, you could buy. Their pints are like 5 credits a piece.
So 7 players, probably?
Yeah, that's credits? About right, yeah.
Let's go for it. Yeah, I'm winning. I'm buying around.
Okay. So this this captain is named Lars Ideas. He is captain of, oh boy, I'm going to murder this name. He is captain of the Shebegibuka Dwam. It is a A2 far trader. And he he keeps he just kind of avoids questions or just
well, that's fine.
About the cargo that he's carrying. But you do note that that he is he seems to be fairly well to do. He's got plenty of money. And he's already lost a number of hands, and it's like it doesn't matter to him. I mean, whatever.
Well, of course, it's a game. The amount doesn't matter.
Yeah. Unlike a lot of people will get concerned. This guy, he looks like the kind of person that might light a stack of hundreds on fire just to, show off to people.
Well,
he's not like making it rain or anything, but he just doesn't seem overly concerned about losing any money.
So if I'm correct, an A2 fire trader, there's only one way in, one way out on this system. I don't think there's any other jumps.
Let me take a look at the map.
This is my neck of the woods coming from Homestead, the shithole we're probably going to go to next.
Yeah, let's see here. Let me bring up the Sindalian main again. So yeah, I mean, Homestead is within range of a far trader, as is number 1. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. The Thief is 3 parsecs away, so I mean, unless they know where the secret refueling station is, they wouldn't be going to Thief. But A2 far traders along the Sindalian main are a regular mainstay throughout the Trojan Reach. In fact, I would say there's probably more of more far traders, and really from about Noricum all the way to Janus, there's a lot of just regular free traders and subsidized merchants, type R fat traders, moving along that main dust belt. The only reason that they wouldn't go any further would be because at Janus there's a 2 parsec jump to get to Connaught. So yeah, I mean this guy's got a pretty standard ship for this kind of line.
Right.
There, like I said, there's more of these small far traders than there would be the large bulk freighters, but those do come through. But I would say that there's probably one bulk freighter for every 50 of these smaller ships.
Okay.
The fur trader is actually it's a good little boat. J2 capability, so it can go places that the fat trader can't, for sure. I don't think it can hold as much cargo as the fat trader. It's really hard to compete with the sheer immense cargo hold of subsidized merchant.
Yeah.
Everybody that's playing, go ahead. It was another 40 credits. Everybody make a gambling check.
Another 9. Crap.
I got another 10.
Fuck. Alright.
You got to beat. Can't win them all.
All right, so Ox lost, and the house has won. As you're contemplating betting another hand, Ox, your mobile comm chimes, and the caller ID shows that it is a unknown number.
That's got to be my friend Tizzy giving me a call. Well, I will answer it.
Okay, it is indeed from Tiznee Zazzle. It is not Tiznee herself. It is one of her entourage, her assistants, calling you to and basically she says, well, we became aware that, or Tiznee became aware that you were in the world, and we were wondering. She was wondering if you would like to come to her estate tonight. You and the crew of your ship as guests of Tiznee Zazzle. She would she likes to try and be gracious to friends who have helped her in the past, and she would like to offer you, come stay at her noble estate. And she gives you coordinates of where the estate is, and it's odd because, well, I mean, I found it odd, and I didn't make this map, but I kind of find it a little strange. So this is where the Star Town is, and there is really no there's no other town. There's the starport and the town, and this is life here. I mean, there are homesteads and whatnot out in the wilderness, but there aren't really any other towns. So this is an 8 million. Roughly 8 million people live in this star town, so it is quite the metropolis. And her estate is all the way over here, like half a world away. And
gives you privacy.
Right, yeah, and it is up in the mountains. And her assistant is saying, well, we have a number of there's a number of skiing and snowboarding and paragliding and, all this kind of stuff. Of course, it's all private on her estate. And if you've never done any of those things, on staff, Tiznee has instructors that can teach you how to do it, things like that. So, come stay the weekend with Tiznee Zazzle.
I would love to, and I will extend the offer to my crew.
Okay. She says...
How do we get there?
So Tiznee Zazzle is going to be in the Star Town tonight for her performance, and of course you will be. She sends over to your mobile comm backstage passes, and she says that Tiznee Zazzle has a private VTOL that will leave the Star Town after the show and after she gives her address, and will fly you to the estate.
Okay. Sounds great.
I mean, I say VTOL. I mean, it's funny how the fusion reactor just completely obliterates the need for gasoline. Looking at this distance, nobody's going to take a helicopter in the real world. But when your helicopter has a fusion reactor, it's like, that ain't no thing. All of a sudden, you're Airwolf. So,
Yep.
She sends you backstage passes, and she says that Tiznee will be excited to see you, and you end the conversation. Are you guys going to play again?
Yes.
No, I'm sick of losing.
All right.
I'm still good.
So, Ox, go ahead and make another gambling plus intellect check.
Okay.
Ooh. I got a 13. You lose, my friend.
Oh.
And Captain Lars Ideas says, looks like you're finally going to be on the same role I've been on. I think I'm done for the day. All three of you, he gets up, he puts his cards down, folds, gets up. All three of you can make a recon plus intellect check.
Recon. 6. I must have drank too much after that round.
That's, yeah.
I finally rolled well. I got 2 6s, so that's bonfires is 16.
Okay. What about Keith?
6.
So, Captain Beth, you see that this guy has an extremely nice pistol holstered. Hold on here, and I will tell you what it is. Ouch. Oh no, those are so mundane. This has to be a really nice one. It's a hand flamer with pearl hand grip. No. So you're not exactly positive, but well, yeah, you would be positive with your double sixes. I mean, it doesn't get much more critical than that. This thing looks like a custom Maser pistol. Now you've only heard rumors that these things exist. This is a TL-17 pistol.
Can I ask him where he got it? That's amazing.
He says, "Oh, you like this, huh?" Well, and he pulls it out. I mean, it's got, pearl hand grips and it looks like the custom targeting system is all just dialed in perfectly. And he says, "Had this custom made for me up in the Florian League." And he says, "Oh, you can hold it if you'd like."
Ooh. Mind if I do?
This thing, it's balanced really nice. And the biggest thing about it is that it unlike Keith's laser pistol, there's a cord that goes from the butt of the gun to a power pack on his belt. There's none of that with this thing. It carries a power cell in it that essentially never dies.
Wow. Oh man.
That's a really nice gun. P10.
How much is the cost? 2,500 or 25,000. Yeah, because I don't have anything that. Well, I have a Sindalian officer pistol or something, or revolver, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's probably not as cool. Probably not worth like trading.
Well, it depends. Like, I don't know, for a revolver, yeah, it's really nice. Plus, it's got the mutiny round. It's basically a Lamat revolver, and because it's Sindalian, it is certainly a collector's item.
Okay, can I show him my revolver?
Oh, he's very interested in that. He says, "Well, you don't see very many of these sitting around anymore. Well, may I ask, where'd you find it? Did you stumble across an old cache or a cache of weapons, or did you buy it on the open market?"
We found it along with a bunch of officers' uniforms and I believe some sabers, I want to say. And they were all in great condition. It was quite a find.
Wow, that is fascinating. You found that on, I want to say you found that on Chachila Weedequay.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, yeah.
Yeah. He says that is amazing. I can only imagine that you probably cleared the place out.
I think so. I don't know where we were.
He says that is a beautiful weapon, and he hands you your pistol back, and he holsters his Maser pistol, and he gets a call, and you and Keith are kind of half listening to this phone call, and both of you can make recon plus intellect checks to try and figure out what he's talking or who he's talking to.
Holy shit, we just rolled so garbage. What the fuck? Let me see. 7.
Yeah, I got 7 also.
Crap.
You're not sure about who he's talking to at this point, but it seems like you get at a -1 on your a -1 is only a marginal failure, so you can't really get the gist of who he's talking to, but you both of you get the distinct impression that this guy is an arms dealer.
Ooh, cool. Does anybody need any other fancy guns? I'm like extremely armed, dangerous, but perhaps.
He might overwhelm us with no, but if we tried to steal from him.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not going to try and steal from steal.
Yeah.
That wasn't crossing my mind.
Okay, good.
I suppose the temptation, but I don't really. I can't. Yeah, there's too many good things around to steal that probably won't be stolen. So maybe he's going to be at the retreat thing later. We'll see.
Well, we could. Yeah, we could try to.
We could try and get his business.
Yeah.
If you're really
I don't know that arms dealers really give out business cards, but he thanks you for your time, and compliments your Sindalian officer's pistol, and basically says something along the lines of "See you out in the black," and he turns and leaves.
He's nice. Probably.
Probably.
What else would you guys like to do? Before it's starting to get later in the evening. Like I said, it took about 6 hours of asking around town. So the gist of this concert that the gist that you get is that it seems like Tiznee Zazzle does one of these, once or twice a month. So it's not like people are. It's kind of like coming over to my apartment. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, we're barbecuing. You barbecue every night. Well, yeah, tastes good. So it's not like the people are. Oh my God, this is such a rare occasion. So it took you about 6 hours to get anybody that really, was excited enough to tell you about it. So, is there any shopping or anything that you would like to do before the event? Like I said, this is a tech level 10 world, but there are several merchants that come through that would likely have at least up to tech level 12 items for sale.
I think I'm good. I think I want to try and put on. I don't know. I probably need a shower or something, right? Is space disgusting? It's gotta be. I don't want to be gross and I'm needing a wash of swimming.
Yeah, let's clean ourselves up. That sounds like a good idea.
We are primates. We need to groom.
What about Ox?
Well, I'm saving up to get a suit of that battle armor that they had.
Oh, like the battle dress?
Uh-huh.
So
after watching those things on the video, chewing on his leg and not getting through the armor, looking at the back suit I have, yeah.
Right.
I know what I need.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they don't sell that here, and I'm pretty sure I don't have enough to buy it yet. So.
Right, and
maybe our new friend, the captain.
So so battle dress, of course, is a highly restricted item.
Right.
And the law level, I want to say, they didn't put it on here. I want to say that Salif's law level is like 6. So it is not. It is not a trifling law level.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to be able to get it.
But
like I said, I don't have that much cash yet, so it'll take a bit.
Right. So to give you an idea, so you're actually in the starport itself, which pretty much. So the laws of a starport follow the you're basically on imperial sovereign ground, no matter where you're at. Outside the starport, things are a little bit different. So law level 6, you know, outside of the starport, all firearms except for shotguns and stunners are illegal, and carrying weapons at all is discouraged. Of course, inside the starport itself, you know, it's pretty normal for people to be walking around openly armed with a sidearm. Probably not walking around carrying assault weapons or anything like that, but sidearms, yeah. So yeah, the law level on Salif is relatively draconian. More or less, it's like Chicago.
Oh, so you can buy one on every street corner.
You can buy one on every... Yeah, they've got like super strict gun laws, but everybody has one and openly uses it. So... So you're saving up for Battle. So there are some options available to you. Not here on Salif, though. Those options being, of course... the crew has some contacts with Thieve, and Thieve, being a planet run by pirates, is the unique situation where you have a super high tech level and a super low law level. Like, the law level is practically 0.
Type of place.
Right. So you can buy, you know, pretty much weapons of mass destruction up to tech level 15, and as long as you don't disturb the peace of the upper city or use any kind of weapon while you're there that would crack the dome of Black Sand City, then those are the only 2 laws, and they both have the same penalty, which is death. So, and like, not like you don't go to court and then are sentenced to execution. No, they have the widows of Black Sand will just kill you on the spot.
Yeah, you're people watching and somebody gets assassinated a couple times a day, it seems like.
Yeah, they've actually been in the upper city where, you know, one of the widows will be like, excuse me, run through, cut a hole in a window, you know, stick a Gauss sniper rifle out the window and take some guy's head off, you know, down the street, and then just weld the hole back shut and be like, okay, go about your business. So that would be an option, of course. And then, of course, there is this guy that you guys just met, Lars Ideas.
Yeah, but I don't think you bring that up on the first day.
Yeah, he might get a little wary.
Right.
If you bring up something like that.
I just met you. We don't have any contacts, but I'd like to buy illegal weapons.
Right. Yeah. So
I'm not working for the law.
So what kind of so the other thing, and I think Corey's Rexar is the only one that's had anything added to his battle dress. Even Ching Shi hasn't done anything extra. So battle dress also have slots that you can put additional things in, like weapons and like Rexar's got a high it's the hyper velocity machine gun in his forearm. It's basically a chain gun, and he's got a rocket launcher as well in his. So that's something else to think about. I mean, yeah, it's great. It's great armor, but the thing is basically a walking tank. So you might want to consider, what you want to put in it down the road as well. So you guys, you clean up, and you get to the concert, and basically there's this large open air kind of amphitheater in the middle of this starport, and the one thing about these all of these starports that you run across in the Trojan Reach, General Development Company, their logos are everywhere. Oh, hold on a second here. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Can hear you.
That's weird.
Yes.
For some reason, it just dumped me out of Skype. No message, nothing. Just you're not connected anymore. So you guys make it to the concert, and the concert is in this large open air amphitheater in the middle of this starport. And the thing about the starports in the Trojan Reach, and you've been to a number of them by now. The thing about them is that they are all owned by General Development Company. And Judecco is not shy about showing their logo, which looks like this. Insert generic corporate font with ridiculously idiotic logo. It's like going through Hillsborough.
Do they make cubes? Do they?
They probably have a huge cube R&D division. So I don't know if Ox is aware of this, so it bears repeating. So Judecco's business model sounds like on the surface, especially out here in the Trojan Reach, it sounds like a big loser. So General Development Corporation is actually based in, I want to say that it's in the Spinward Marches. But okay. Trojan Reach is really where they are operating at a higher level than the size of their company. They are actually a fairly small company when compared to things like Ling Standard Products or Instel Arms or companies like that. They would not be classified, in the Imperium. They wouldn't be classified as a mega corporation. Out here in the Trojan Reach, they can punch well above their weight and act like a mega corporation. And their business model, they come into the Trojan Reach and they take all these planets and they go to a planet and they say, okay, you're tech level 7. We will build a Class A starport and we will bring your tech level up in return for a percentage of your planet's gross product. So a lot of these worlds, Salif would be a great example. I mean, their gross product, well, there's some natural resources, mining, probably a lot, with all the greenery in the water, probably some good crops, things like that they can export. They're not interested in the actual product, they want the money. And so anything that comes through for trade, anything that comes through for sales, whatever, Jadeko says, oh, well, give us 3% of your gross global product, and you get a Class A starport. And essentially, they're attempting to bring the tech level up they're attempting to bring it up to, as close to 12 as they can. And they do this all across the Trojan Reach. These guys have found Class A starports on some of the most ridiculous planets. And of course, Jadeko, it's paying off for them. Like, massively. But these guys have kind of... I don't know what your opinions are on Jadeko. They're not sure if they're the evil corporation, or if maybe they're just doing business. They haven't. Jadeko hasn't played their cards yet, but they've found that Jadeko does do some pretty sketchy shit. Like on the planet Blue, they discovered that they had a psionics institute that appeared to have some kind of breeding or cloning program going on. They're not sure yet which. So there is some sketchy underhandedness to Jadeko, but that's their basic operating model, is that we give you a starport, you give us money, and on a yearly basis, and we give you technology. So they are not shy about having their logos on everything. And this starport on Salif, it's got a brewhouse tavern, it's got an Astro Burgers, it's got big hotel chains, casinos. When you look around this starport, the first thing, aside from the fact that that the starport's owned by Jadeko, the next thing that pops into your mind is, this planet must be run by an aging holostar, because it's kind of the starport and the star town that are set up kind of like Las Vegas. The whole place looks like, the Vegas airport. So you guys... Well, right. I mean, yeah, she's going to... Old habits die hard. She's going to do what she knows. So you guys get to this concert, and there's pyrotechnics display. Well, you think they're pyrotechnics. They're probably holograms. And she comes out on stage, and you know that she has to be, when I say aging, I'm not lying. She probably is in her 70s, early 80s. She looks like she's maybe 45.
Cher is jealous.
Yes. Yeah, Cher would be so jealous that all of her plastic surgery would melt right off of her. And so she comes out, gives a fantastic performance, singing some schlocky song about how that the working man is the heart and lifeblood of the planet, and yeah, it's ridiculous. And the crowd is eating it up. And then once the performance is done, she goes into a long-winded speech about how she has new plans to build a new town not far from here, probably about let's see, I thought there was oh yeah, so 1 hex is 1,000 kilometers, so 2,000 clicks to the northeast. She's talking about building a new city that will allow people to move out of the Star Town, and it's not going to be so crowded here. And she alludes to the fact that a lot of these people are living in slum-like conditions. You aren't really seeing that, but that's because you're inside the starport. You haven't gone outside into the Star Town and wandered around. But with 8 million people living in one town, you probably can understand that that's understandable. And so, the crowd is cheering, and you guys are brought backstage by her security detail. And she comes backstage, and she immediately comes up to Ox. Ox, it's so good to see you. It's been a number of years, and she looks like she hasn't aged a day since you last saw her, and you probably haven't seen her in 10 years.
And I will of course tell her that she looks great.
Oh, you are always such a flirter. So, she brings you back, and she has a... Excuse me. There we go. No, that would be awesome, but that's way too slow. She has a dirigible now.
Well, I'll ask my dear friend, how'd you end up here in charge of this place?
She says, it is really the, honestly, it's the strangest thing, but so she said about 5 years ago, she says, I came to do a performance here I came to do a performance, and we were shooting a movie here on Salif, and the planet was being run by just a dictator, and the people, the people weren't making any of their own money. All of the money went to the dictator, and then the dictator handed out, what he thought the people needed as far as food and lodging and things like that. And of course, in any kind of system like that, that means that the people weren't getting much. And so I couldn't believe what I saw. And during my performance, I succeeded in getting the people to rise up, and a brief 6-month rebellion went on, and when everything was said and done, the people voted to have me take over leadership.
Well, I'm sure you're doing a great job.
She says, well,
I'm introducing my crew members.
She says, oh, I'm very glad to meet you. And she shakes Keith's and Beth's hand, and she says, oh, come back here. She says, I have the new Concordia 3 hypersonic VTOL airliner. We'll be to my estate in the mountains in probably about an hour.
Awesome.
So this
Sure, we did like fast cars.
yeah. So this thing can this thing can travel like 6,000 kilometers per hour, and so there's this. It looks kind of like. Excuse me, I got a beard hair in my mouth. It looks like the Concorde jet, but it's got like turbofans in the wings, And so it doesn't need a long runway or anything like that. It just pops up and like a jump jet and takes off. And when you get, she leads you on board, and there are the interior of this thing is like white leather seating, heavily padded, super comfortable seats. She has her own flight staff that comes around and immediately hands out champagne flutes to you guys, and this jet takes off. It lifts up, and you guys are in the air in like no time.
Nice.
I feel I belong here.
And this.
Well, chat with her. How's everything going? Blah blah blah. See if she needs any help.
Ooh, do that.
So she making small talk. She says that really the biggest hurdle for her so far has been getting the money to invest in, or getting investors from off world to come and invest the money needed in order to build this new city. But she said that she's finally set up a deal with some nobility out of Tobiah that is going to come in, and they're supposed to be here next week. They're going to basically survey the land, and she's got a number of imperial investors that are ready to put the money and effort into building this new city.
Our hostages, are they?
I'm thinking.
I had thought of that. That would be hilarious. No, it's not your hostage.
Shit, okay.
Maybe it is. No, it's not the hostages. It's hilarious. I'm sorry. And so she says, finally, she says things are finally starting to move in the direction that she's been trying to have things move in since day one. And so this hypersonic VTOL lands, and this is the front of Tiznee Zazzle's house, or her estate. And then these are examples of the interior. Very roomy. This is like your private suite. And then this is like her sitting area.
We bragged to her about how we helped the workers like unionize and take over Akron, and then they joined the Drinax coalition.
She finds that extremely interesting, and she that really, kind of brings her over even closer to your side. She's, for all of her celebrity, and she definitely comes off as the, barely able to tie her own shoelaces kind of celebrity. But she really wants the working people to, have what's rightfully theirs. And so she's not a bad person. She's just, she kind of just bit off more than she could chew, to be real honest. The stories that she's telling you about what's going on with Salif, she took over, and there was really no plan for what happens if they succeeded. And so the planet has just kind of stagnated under her rule. But the people seem to be happier. So the strange...
Oh, go ahead.
So the strange thing, though, is that the people of Salif voted her into office after removing the despot and basically put her into the same position. So she's doing the exact same type of government, except that she's giving the people their due.
Okay, but the next person that comes along is probably going to be crappy, like, most likely.
Right.
So she needs somebody to write, like, a constitution or something.
That thought hasn't even occurred to her. Like, it probably hasn't even occurred to anybody on the planet. Like, you've got 8 million average voters. None of them are very imaginative.
Shit. Well, this place is ripe for the taking. Like, we're not going to do it because Ox is friends with her. But seriously, she's in like a shitload of danger. Really. Like,
oh, yeah.
if somebody just there and took over, then does she have any infrastructure, any number two, anybody really?
Not particularly.
Jeez. Okay. Well, when are the nobles getting here? Because that might be their plan, and she might want some muscle around.
So the nobles should be arriving, like she said that they'll be arriving next week. And she she turns to Ox and she says, "Did you hear anything about I heard from a one of my trade contacts that came into port here a month or so ago, something about that there's been a change to the Treaty of Fist, and that that King Oleb of Drinax is forming a new Sindalian empire. Have you heard anything about this?"
That is entirely correct. But the captain knows more about that than I do. And she can speak to that.
She says, so this Treaty of Fist, it sounds like if that's true, then the Aslan Herate can just come in and take over all of our worlds.
Yep, Captain.
So
I know. I'm like.
So the fake treaty that you guys stole from the treasure ship and have been using as a fear factor to get these worlds to join the Kingdom of Drinax, basically what it says is that the Aslan Herate are able to annex any world in the Tliawaha, Depressed, Sindal, and Borderlands subsectors, with the only stipulation being that they have to remain 6 parsecs away from an Imperial border.
Okay, so I think I'll tell her that the treaty is not real, but that.
No, don't tell her that.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
Tell her that Drinax will support her if she joins with Drinax.
Who are we gonna send to support her though? Like if the Aslans invade, that's her worry right now?
Yeah, because I mean Salif, as far as Navy, Salif has like 2 system defense boats. And that's it. So I mean, if the Aslan showed up and wanted to basically steamroll over Salif, it would become a Herate world like literally overnight.
Okay, so I guess what I'll say is that the situation right now is the Aslans could do that, and our only real hope is to unite, have like one united front against them. So anywhere that they attack, we can all support each other.
Go ahead and make a persuade plus either social or charm, your choice, and you can make that roll with a boon.
Sweet. $10.
Ooh. So she says, I mean, that sounds fantastic. She says, that would be exactly the safety net that I've been looking for. Is there anything I have to sign? Now, all of these agreements that you've gotten so far for planets to join Drinax have all been verbal agreements at this point. Haven't really gotten to a point where anybody's ready to really nail down, the actual fine print of the matter. However, so looking at this map, I'll bring us back over here to Salif. So, let's see here. So Drinax is all the way down here. You've got Torpal, Clark, Borite, Marduk.
So 5 jumps away?
Yeah, it's a...
Jump 2s.
Yeah. Essentially, yeah. And Arunisir and Acrid. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now 7. So that means 7 worlds. And the downside of that, of course, is that Salif is the one that's the furthest away. But there's still hope. I mean, maybe you can get Noricum, Thebes, number 1. Maybe you can add those to your list. And that would actually bring Salif closer to this new pocket empire that you're essentially building. But everything so far has been nothing but verbal agreements. But she is 100% on board with this idea.
Cool. She doesn't have to sign anything now, but I will take an autograph.
Oh, she gladly gives you an autograph. All 3 of you can make Recon plus Intellect checks.
11.
Changing dice. I got 4.
Oh boy. What about Ox?
Oops. I got a bad typing. I got a 6.
So, Captain Beth, as she's signing your autograph, you notice that she has a portacath in her arm. And she, when you see this portacath, it is not necessarily similar to the types of portacaths that you might see, like a medical patient would use. This is something of a higher tech.
She's pumping energetics in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She looks so good.
Yep, that is exactly what that is.
So she's loaded.
Yeah, because anagothics are like, what, 200,000 a pop per dose?
Yeah, does she want us to get any, better defense stuff for her at sea? Or we could do that to make the planet more secure? Hire some muscle for when we're not here.
Actually, that's not a bad idea either. Go ahead and make a Persuade plus Social or Charm check.
10.
Woof. So, yeah, she likes the idea of that. She had flirted with the idea of doing a global draft. But then the problem comes in that so if you have all these soldiers, you have to outfit them. She likes your idea better because if you hire mercenaries, they come already equipped. So she agrees to give you 2 mega credits to hire a group on Thief.
Okay, we'll find the people with the best reputation for that. We'll do our best.
Okay. So it is basically the most relaxing weekend that you guys have had. Like, probably since this campaign began. This is like the one and only time that you've actually gotten a vacation. There's, like I said, skiing and paragliding, and she's got a huge pool and jacuzzis, and you're all well fed. But other than that, nothing on Salif really. Everything goes right. I mean, there's no surprises, nothing to really be overly concerned about. Things are good.
She is super lucky, I think.
I think, yeah. So the weekend, is there anything that you would particularly like to do, or anything further that you would like to investigate with Tiznee Zazzle?
Not with her, but I want to look in like an encyclopedia or information something somewhere. I want to know what Sagan is. Like the planet. I'm just curious about it.
Sagan. That is easily looked up. Let's see here. Sagan. I mean, I think it's easily looked up. So. Or maybe not. Interesting. They evidently don't care about singing. Let's see here. Let's see what Traveler Map says. Whoops. It is in depressed subsector. Has a Class C starport, tech level 8, law level 3. And it says, pre-agricultural, non-industrial world lacking adequate development for its economy to become prosperous. As a non-industrial world, it requires extensive imports of outside technology to maintain a modern starfaring society. The need to import most manufactured and high-technology goods drives the prices of these goods up in the open market. It is considered non-aligned. It is dominated by humans. Okay, here's the real part of this. So Sagan was conquered by Tyr in well, it doesn't say when, but the Tyrian lord during what they call the Tyrian lordships period. Tyrian lordships There was a history of conflict against Aslan forces. Tyr has long, bloody history against the Aslan. Basically, expansionists took hold of Tyr and began what they call the Tyrian lordships period. The rapacious kingdom began invading nearby worlds, and at the height of their power, Tyr held the entirety of the Sindalian Main